the beginning of our journey. Welcome everyone to MSAgent World, an RPG starring the MSAgents. This is being made for the fans of MSAgents, but if so happen to not be familiar with them, then let me give you a little history. You see, back in the mid-90s, Microsoft introduced Office Assistants, named so after coming with MS Office. The one on top should be familiar to older folks, Clip It, the notorious assistant who derided many users. Regardless of the vitriol that he and his friends caused, they were quite popular that from the later mid-2000s, a program called Microsoft Agent was installed in every Windows system so that you can have them on your desktop than just MS Office. However, by the end of Windows 7, Microsoft announced the end of the agents, and thus the end of a tiny era in Windows history. However, the agents live on, with a small dedicated fandom, not to mention MSAgent, a program that can run the agents after Win 7. But why am I making this game? For a couple of reasons. I love crossovers. I really do. I go crazy for them, and every time I see a company's library of works, I always want them to crossover. When I recently thought of the MSAgents, I instantly wanted them to have a crossover game and decided why not go ahead with it. I feel burned out from my previous projects. Currently working on a game right now, and it's really getting to me. It's because I want to sell it, and that means that I have to work super hard on it. It's really tiring me out, and I decided to make a game on the side just for the fun of it without worrying about deadlines and stuff like that. Art is not my strong point. Continuing from the second point, I also have to draw a lot of artwork for a game, which is really tiring. I really prefer to code, and since this game already has the agents ready to be placed in the game, I can concentrate on simply coding it. For now, the game is being planned, but follow this devlog here on Game Jolt where you can check out the mod page coming soon. Right now I'm just getting things ready, but the next post will be all about what I plan to do. What do I have planned for this game? At the moment, the game is still in its planning stages, but I figured I'd explain what I have in store. Storyline. Our story takes place within the virtual world. After Microsoft ended the MSAgent program, all the agents have resided in a space called the MSAgent world, where agents could live out their days. However, one day, agents started leaving the MSAW and started wreaking havoc. The keeper of the MSAW, Microsoft Bob, investigates this incident and finds that all the agents have been infected with viruses and malware, making them go crazy. MS Bob can't do anything on his own, but discovers that only one agent managed to avoid being corrupted, Rover. So Rover sets out to figure out what has happened to the MS agents and find a way to cure them. Style. This is going to be an RPG game in the style of the classics, with active battles and worlds to explore, but this game takes place in the virtual world, so you won't be traversing fantasy lands but the internet itself as well as other Windows platforms. How this is going to be done is still be researched, but what is known is that you will play in a virtual desktop of sorts. Combat. What's a good old school RPG without battles? Across your adventure, you will meet up with the infected and corrupted agents, and in the typical RPG style, you will fight them menu-based, selecting from a list of actions. Defeating your foes is one way to deal with them, but remember, this is a quest to help the infected agents. You will also be given the tools to fix them. Programs such as antivirus software and defragmentation tools will be available to use on the corrupted agents to set them free from what ails them. Gotta catch them all! The benefit of fixing the corrupted agents is that they will join you, and the best part is that there are over 400 agents to collect and add to your party. You can have an army of agents at your disposal. That is all I have for now, but stay tuned when the actual programming starts. The battle system and Twitter. Today I want to announce that the battle system for the game is now in development. Why the battle system first? Because that is probably the main feature of the game. This game is going to be about searching for all the agents and helping them recover from their malware infection, and will all take place in the virtual world of computer. There will be gameplay as you traverse the online world, but the battles will be the main draw. I don't want to get into too much detail, but I will list the features that I want to have. You will have two types of characters, agents and assistants. Agents will be your main characters, while assistants will be automatically attacking. Enemies will be infected agents, which you can either help or destroy. Agents that are infected will start as completely green, colored and change to yellow, and then red. This color change is based on how much health they have left. The battles themselves will take place in an application window, as in an X file has started to run. Each character's attacks and actions will be based on their animations. Battles are active-based, meaning that each character and enemy will have an active time bar. You will be able to move the characters within the screen. That is because the attacks themselves do not automatically attack who you select, rather where you select on the screen. If you click on an agent, you're really clicking the spot that agent is in, so if the agent moves before the attack lands, it will not hit. To save an agent and have them join your party, you have to weaken them and then use a program on them. Programs include antivirus, anti-malware, system restores, and others. Some, however, do different things such as simply wipe out their data, making them an empty shell where you must provide them the data they need. This is so far what I have. Coding will be done soon, as I am right now getting the images for the prototype. For now, you can enjoy this mock-up of what I have in mind. Before I go, I want to post about the progress of the game as I go along, but I can't make a devlog for every little thing. That's why I have made a Twitter. If you want to have daily progress updates, you can check out the Brofist Monster Twitter here, https://twitter.com/Brofist_monster. You can contact me here to submit your agents to be put in the game. However, be aware that some restrictions apply. 1 month later, what has happened? Yes, it's been exactly 1 month since I announced the game, and I figured I'm due to an update. When I had the idea to make this game, I didn't know there was such a thing as a MSAgent community. I just thought it was something I can do for fun. It wasn't until I wanted to do some research on the agents that I realized that there was in fact a MSAgent community, and you guys have been so supportive of this project. I thank you guys and hope to hear more from your suggestions. Now, what about the game? How are things? Well, we'll start things off with a video of what I have so far. As you can see, the battle system is coming off well, but what the heck is going on in that footage? I bet you're confused, so I'm gonna run down how the battle system is going to work. There will be 3 types of characters: players, enemies, and assistants. In this video, there are only 2 players, those that you can control, click it and links. The enemy is Big Bear and the assistant, AI-controlled agents, is Ernie. When a battle begins, you can hover your mouse over an agent to see their stats on the bottom. The red bar is the one you must pay attention to, because when that bar fills, that agent is now active. You can also tell if they're active when a speech bubble appears over them. Of course, the enemy will automatically attack when their bar is full. When a player is active, click on them to get a list of options. One of these options is to move the agent on the screen. This is an important strategy for projectile attacks, which at this point have yet to be implemented. Another option is the attack menu, where you can select a number of attacks. Click on an attack, and then the OK button to make the agent use it against a target. The assistant is controlled by the computer AI. The only thing you can do is give them instructions. You can tell who is the assistant by the window surrounding them. Lastly, I forgot to show this on the video, but there is also an item menu that I did code. If you look at the upper right-hand corner, you can see some icons. One of these is for the items, where a window will open and you can give an item to an agent. You can see this window in the Twitter page. And that's so far what I have. If you're wondering why progress is very slow, that's because I only work on this game for 1-2 hours a day, and that is if I don't go to work. You'll have to sit tight while the game is being developed. It's going to be a long while before it's finished. However, I do have plans to release a battle system prototype once the battle system is complete. I can't give a date, but it will eventually come, so look forward to that. That does it for this devlog. If you wish to be constantly updated on the progress of the game, make sure to follow the game's Twitter page, https://twitter.com/Brofist_monster. I post there on a constant basis with animated GIFs, so make sure to follow the progress of this game there. Also, I'm still accepting agents to be put in the game and your suggestions on what you want to be put in the game, so be sure to get in on that. A new beginning. So, if anyone is following this devlog, sorry about leaving all of a sudden. Apparently, my time working on this project was cut short due to lack of time. I left to pursue my first goal of making a game to sell on Steam. However, the idea to make a MSAgent RPG game never left me, and I really want to make this game happen. That is why this project is on hiatus at the moment, not cancelled. I will make this game happen, but I need more time. I'm hoping that once I get my game on Steam, I can sell it and make enough money to pursue my dream of being a game developer. That is my dream, and I'm working hard on it. For now, I guess my only option is to keep working towards that dream and just wait until the time is right. However, even though I can't work on the game, I can plan for it. Every night, after I work on my flagship game, I seem to have like an hour or so before I go to bed. I usually just relax and either play a game or watch YouTube, but recently, I haven't much cared to do either. I always feel restless to do something creative. That is why I decided that during that 1 hour, I'm going to plan for the future of MSAgent World, so let me get down to business and tell you what I have planned. First off, when is this game going to resume production? I'm not sure. That's hard to say right now, but I'd like to be hopeful that perhaps sometime later this year, or even sooner, but it could be as much as a year or so. Whatever the case, the phrase, coming soon, should be appropriate. Next thing, what exactly am I doing right now? I happen to have collected around 382 agents, collected from as many sources as I can, and these even include ones from the MSAgent community on YouTube. On the first week of the previous version's production, I spent the entire week cataloging each one for reference purposes. Now I'm going back to checking every single one to approve agents that I want to be in the game and reject those I can't use, so I got quite a bit of work cut out for me in the coming weeks. If you are curious, as of right now, 31 have been approved and 18 have been rejected. Once I'm finished with checking every agent, I will then make the list public so you can see which agents have been approved and see if your character made it in. After that, I'll be planning the new battle system. The old battle system, where the battle took place in real time and you could move your character anywhere, was too ambitious. It took me like a month to code what I showed in the video. For this game to be a success, I have to simplify the battle system, so gone will be the gimmicks of the old system. And then when that's over, I then will have to go through the list of approved agents and go through every single animation of each one to see which animation will go with each special power. Though every character won't have their own unique attacks, but instead there will be a pool of special powers that each character will have based on what their animation invokes, but some agents will have stronger powers than others. And that is all I have to say. Right now the game is in a hiatus, but will slowly be built behind the scenes as I go through the planning stages first. There may not be an update soon, so do yourself a favor, and if you are interested in this project, no matter how far off it is, then follow the Twitter page and the YouTube channel to be notified of the next update. Cataloging and searching. The game is still on hold, but the planning continues, as right now I'm cataloging every agent I happen to have. I spent like a week going through the some 300 plus agents that I have right now, approving and rejecting those that will be in the game. The reason why I'm rejecting agents is because some of them just aren't good enough to be in the game. I'm going to post the conditions of which agents make it and which ones don't when I post the big list of approved agents, but for right now, I'm going to give the rejected agents a second chance. During the middle of my approval/rejection process, I realized that not all of those that I rejected necessarily deserve it. Those that got rejected, I'm going to give them a second chance to see if they should be reconsidered or not. As for those that are approved right now, the count is 291. Not a bad number at all, but like I said, the rejected ones are going to get a second chance, so we'll see how that goes. Now 291 is a good number, but in my search for all the agents, turns out there are at least over 400 made, not counting the current MS Paint ones that is, but from the past. The sites are gone, but there are archives of the agents from the past, some that are perhaps lost to time, but I won't let that stop me. I'm going on a crazy quest to find the missing agents. This is going to be a challenge as I'm going to need to find the people responsible for making these agents, and considering that the agents were made nearly 20 years ago, I'm in for a long journey. Still, it doesn't hurt to try, so wish me luck on that. That's all I really got to say. Next update will probably be a progress report on the quest, so until then. The search is over. Come and get in. Before we get down to the devlog, if you're here for the agents, the link is in the bottom of this post, and hurry, because it won't be there for long. Now on to the entry. You know, the idea behind this game was inspired by me getting nostalgic about the agents. I can't remember how I got about remembering the agents, but eventually it came to mind, and I decided that it would be fun if I took all the office assistants and made a small game out of it. This was before I learned that there were nearly 500 agents, and these were the ones I managed to find. With so many agents lost to time, I decided to set a new mission for this game, to preserve whatever agents are left, and thus the results of the great Microsoft agent search available to download. It's been quite a month searching for all these agents, but I couldn't keep on going forever. The internet has expanded gigantically since the early 2000s, but the MSAgent community of the past is only a fraction of that. It would take me forever to keep searching for every single agent there ever was, so I had no choice but to set a limit to my search. I've done all I could, and I am happy with the results I have. Not to mention, I'm certain that the majority of agents are truly lost, and there is no way to get them at all. Some of these agents were available on programs no longer available to download, and others you were supposed to buy them. I doubt that there is some way to actually get these without contacting the person, and I'm sure that any emails associated with them are now abandoned. There is only one more way to get more agents. There are at least 2 sites left that still sell them. The only way I can get them is to buy them, which I will attempt to do, but at a later date. I still believe there are agents out there, and even though the search is over, I'm still going to keep an eye out to see if there are still agents to be found. In fact, some agents that I deemed lost at one point were found, so there is still hope left. For those who are truly lost, with only an image left over, or at least until I find them, there will be a section in the game called the Mausoleum. This is a collection of selected agents that could not be found and are assumed to be lost, that will be displayed with whatever info I could find on them. Now that the search is over, I can get back to planning the game. There's a lot to go through, so I better get back to that. So with that said, the agents I found can be downloaded here, but you better get them right now as you are reading this. These agents will only be available for 2 days. Once those 2 days are gone, you will have to wait until the game comes out to have a chance to get them again. Link has been removed due to a member of the MSAgent community being unreasonable. PM here, Twitter, or YouTube for the link. The list is now official. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? Before I get to the news, I'll update you on what's been going on these few months I've been gone. Apparently life got in the way as I was working on my main game project, so MSAgent World had to be put aside while I finished my flagship game. That, and I also want to transfer MSAW to Game Maker Studio 2 as I am using 1.4 and wish to upgrade. So for now I can't work on it, but I have been doing extensive planning, and that's where I am currently. The past few weeks, every time I had free time, I would catalog all the agents I have and approve/reject those that will be in the game. You've heard this already, I've explained it many times. Well, I finally finished this process. The results out of 420 agents that I currently have, 302 will be in the game and 118 have been rejected. By the end of this cataloging, I decided to be a bit more strict and aim for quality based on a system I created. Each agent was being judged by 4 criteria. Art, the quality of the images. Poses, the amount of programmed actions the agents have. Frames, how many frames of animation each pose has. Animation, how smooth the animation is. With each 4 criteria, I would give it up to 3 points max, with 3 being the highest quality and 0 being the lowest. Then these points would be added up and given a grade from A to D with a plus equals or. Thus all 4 criteria, getting 3 points each would earn an A+, while getting a single point would be D. Getting a 0 in all is an automatic disqualification, while D equals or D will be considered for rejection. and with that, I narrow down the list to 310 agents. However, it's not over yet. This is only for the agents that I managed to have on hand. There are still agents out there that I need to get. One source happens to come from sites that are still selling them, or I believe are still selling them. They are online, but I don't know if they are active. One has an active message board, but it hasn't been updated in a year. I've sent an email to these sites to see if they are still available, so I'll find out if these agents can't still be bought. Another source comes from agents before Microsoft Agent. Old programs like MS Word 97 has assistants that are not part of the MSAgent program, but I will be including them in. I just need to figure out how to get them. I may have to use an emulator to do so, but I do have a computer with XP on it, so I'll try that first. There are also some agents that were browser-based, agents that only work in a browser. If you go to these sites, they no longer work, but I recently saw a video of someone using an emulator and getting these agents to display. If such a thing can be done, then these agents can be saved from their fate in the mausoleum. There's also the agents that are not agents. I made a video about this, so check out my YouTube channel for the Delphi exclusive agents. Finally, there's the final boss. I don't want to spoil anything, but let's say that the final boss is not an MSAgent at all, but a successor to the program. Now that I have a list of the agents that will be in the game, what comes next? I'm not sure. Right now I'm concentrating on getting these elusive agents and adding to my list. Hopefully I can get the number to exceed 350. I think I'll continue that for now. Story time. If you're just here for the agents, then the link is in the bottom of the post. If you are interested in learning where I found them, read on. Not long after I made my previous log, something amazing happened. Yes, I found more agents, and I want to share with you how all this transpired. So gather around because it's story time. First was Ben, the system administrator. Believe it or not, there is still a site that sells MSAgents. I was looking into this site when I saw they were offering free agents, but these agents are the same ones that are easily found, Kitty, Robbie, Merlin, etc. However, Ben I didn't have, so of course I grabbed him. Then there are agents from a tarot reading program. Occasionally I would surf Google image search for MSAgents, and eventually I ran into an old tarot reading program. Though the program is no longer available, the archive had these programs available, so I downloaded them and took their X files. These are the weird staring women in the video, see below. These were pretty good, but they were nothing compared to what happened next. Months ago, I discovered a Russian website with a lot of agents. I have no recollection on how I discovered this website, but it must have been during the great Microsoft Agent search I had a few months back, because I noted the site to visit it later. This website was like a decade old by this point, and almost every link redirected you to a disposable page, which are now all empty now. The only agents that were still available to download were ones that were easily found elsewhere. Pretty much, the site was abandoned and all the new agents discovered were no longer available, at least the current standing site. Going back into the archive, some of the agents I wanted did have links to the files, and thus they were rescued from the mausoleum. But alas, the rest of the agents were truly gone from the site. In the case of other websites I would give up because it was clear that those agents were long gone, lost to time, but there was something different about this site. It wasn't a professional-made site, it was very basic in design. Clearly, it was made by an individual fan of the agents. Despite the age of the site, I felt like I could actually achieve in retrieving these agents, but the question was how? Well, at this point, there was only one way: contact the site owner. I first contacted the email present in the site. No luck, the email was dead. My second attempt was to go back to the archives of the site and see if I missed something. I went through the earliest stages of the site's history, but sadly no luck. Every link I needed was indeed dead. With the email no longer in service and squeezing the archive as much as I could, I felt that I have done all I could and left the site, only grabbing the necessary images for the mausoleum. However, I never gave up. I saved the contact information because I knew I was going to visit the site later on. I would occasionally look at it, trying to figure out what I could do, where I could look to find answers. Those agents felt like they were in my grasp, I just needed to find them somehow. For some reason, I felt like they were available somewhere, I just didn't know where. I don't know why, but I had this desire to get the rest of these agents and bring them to light once more, no matter how long it would take. Once again I contacted the email address on the site. Again, nothing. I then took a look at the purchasing page and had an idea. This person wanted payment for some of the agents through a service called WebMoney and even gave his WebMoney ID. I decided to go to this site and see if I can find some other contact info. So I went to the site and inputted the person's ID. I got the person's profile on the site, but the information was locked. I needed an account to access it, so I decided to get one. Sadly, I was impeded in the process of getting an account by the phone confirmation. This site needed to confirm my identity with a phone number. The problem was this site was in Russia. I don't know if it was because my phone could not receive calls from other countries or if my phone had problems with Russian phone numbers, but this was an obstacle I could not overcome. I failed to get an account and was set back to where I started. Still, however, I refused to give up. The prospect of finally owning these agents was very strong, and I would not rest until I at least contacted this person. So I go back to the site's archives, and by complete accident, I clicked on the site's counter. This was an accident that I so needed to happen, for here I found the website's name on a ranking site. At first I thought nothing of it, but I would soon notice the URL that was linking back. It was not the same as the one I came from. I clicked this link and was sent to the same website, but it was even older than the oldest one saved in the archives. Just as it read on the ranking site, the URL was indeed different, and the date clearly marked it 2 years earlier than the one I was visiting before. This was the first version of the site before it moved to a new URL. This early site had less content, but that was to be expected, and of course there was nothing new to find here. However, the discovery of this early site was not in vain, as the most remarkable difference in this site was the contact email. It was different than the site that came after it, and I quickly sent a message to this new email. By this point, this email was 17 years old, and the only outcome would be either another dead end or that another person claimed said email. What were the odds that they still belonged to the original site owner after all this time? Well, I did not know the odds, but I will tell you this: I got a response. It was in Russian, so I copy and pasted the message into Google Translate. The message elated me. It was him, the owner of the now abandoned site. He still held on to his email after all these years. My excitement intensified. My astonishment that he would hold on to the same email blew my mind. Yet it could have been all for naught. The chances of him still having the agents I so needed was very slim, and he might no longer have them. I certainly didn't know anything at the point, but I was so excited that such a thought had not come to me. All I cared about was the whereabouts of the agents and nothing more, and now that I was in contact with the owner of the site, there was nothing more to do than to proceed. I told him my situation and asked him if he still had his MSAgents. 8 minutes later, he responded back. He did. He said he had to go through backups to find them, but on that same day he sent me 7 agents and would send me more every morning. Thus, the following 2 days every morning, he sent me more and more agents. My excitement could not be contained. I was ecstatic. A long shot that hit its target, for I was now in possession of MSAgents who have been laying dormant in a hard drive for who knows how long, from a contact that was at minimum 20 years old. Save for one he could not find, I managed to retrieve 26 agents from him that were lost to time, now saved from their fate to the mausoleum, including the very sought-after agent that everyone got excited about, Max Alert, Bonzi's fraternal brother. And now, without further ado, here is the video of all the characters that were discovered from the Tarot Card Program and System Administrator and from my contact. With these agents now found, I am convinced that there are only a few left to find. I'm sure there are thousands more agents, but I'm going to guess that we're now stretching the search thin here. I'm not gonna find every agent, but I'm gonna get every single one that's left over. As said before, there are still agents left that are still being sold, and I'll buy the ones that I need. After that, I'm going to go back to the archives and get the agents that are browser-based. Hopefully they still work, and that should be the end of this mad search, and I will finally have a near-perfect database of the remaining agents, unless someone has an agent that I yet have, in which case, do provide a copy. With all that said, you may download all the agents here, but do so quickly, as I do not intend to host these for long. Please note that this package does not contain pen system, administrator or max alert, as those two are available by other means. Search update and game resumes production 2019. Wow, it's been only a month and quite a bit has happened in my quest to acquire all the agents. 1 month ago, I told the tale of the Russian contact on how he had provided me with many agents that were lost to time, some being super rare. Well, I may not have been able, nor will I be able, to find a treasure trove like that ever again. I have been finding more agents by other means. However, the ways that I have to acquire them have changed, and that's because the last agents left have to be bought. To my surprise, there is still a website that is selling MSAgents. It's called Desktop Mates, and they've been online for over 20 years. They got some great agents, but I can't buy them all at once, so I have to save my money and purchase them piece by piece. I have already bought 3 agents and I'm aiming to get as many as I can in the near future. I also discovered there was another agent in the Magic Goody program series. If you've been searching for agents like I have, you've probably ran into an agent called Magic Goody. Though he's been lost, he was eventually found by one Sebastian Wall, so many thanks go to him. However, there was another agent in a Magic Goody program called Rudy Rabbit. Unlike Goody, there was not evidence of his existence except for a single screenshot, and the program associated with him was not available online at all. However, there was a copy of the program to buy online all the way in Germany. It cost quite a bit, but it was the only one and I didn't want it to escape, so I bought it, and Rudy is now a part of MSAgent World. Though the majority of agents are now to be purchased, there are still some that are still out in the wild. There were 2 agents found in the archives, called Beagle and Mouse Potato. I can't recall if they were available to purchase, but if they were, that option is no longer available. However, they were also in the form of browser-based ACF/ACA files, agent files used for displaying them on your website. At first I thought those were gone too, but turns out the ACF files themselves are still available on the archives, and I managed to track them down. Well, the ACF files themselves at least. I still need to get the ACA files, those I could not track down. My only hope is to somehow peek into the ACF file and see if I can find the names of each ACA file associated with it. That may be the only way for me to get these guys back. As exciting as it was finding all these new agents, it wasn't all positive. After releasing the agents from the Russian contact, I realized just how many people out there are very selfish and rude. I don't want to go into it in this devlog, but you will find information about these kinds of people on the MSAgent World YouTube and Twitter page. I just want to mention that I will not be sharing any more of my findings due to the negative attitude I've been given about this, so all links to previous findings are now dead. If you would like a certain agent, please contact me and we may be able to work out something. Now it's been over a year since this project has started. What about the game itself? I ran out of time to continue working on the game as I had other engagements, but that will soon change. With the search for agents coming to an end, I want to announce that in 2019, the game will begin production once again. Right now I am concentrating on getting my life sorted out, and I want to upgrade the software I'm using to make the game, and that will take some time, but come next year, the game will resume production, so look forward to it. The new year is upon us. TLDR, can't buy new agents, will assume I have them, new engine to be used, but might go back to GM. Sometime in 2019 the game will officially begin production. The new year is almost upon us and I have many plans for that year, but the ones for MSAgent World, considering the recent events, have changed. I'm going to use this update to talk about the future of MSAgent World, the changes that have occurred from then to now, and what's been going on in my life that may have affected the project. First, I wish to talk about my real life. Right now I'm at a point where my money has run out due to having no hours in my job. No hours equals no paycheck. All this should be rectified by January, hopefully, but this meant that I could not buy any more agents. What little there are left, and according to my research, the last few agents I need to buy will cost me quite a bit of money. I still intend to buy them, but apparently I can't do it all at once, at least, not right now. So what I'm gonna do is this: I'm going to assume that they're all approved and add them to my database. Before I even begin planning out the game, I have to confirm how many agents I have, and I can't do that unless I have found every single agent I could possibly find, and since these agents need to be paid for, I can't finish the database until I check them. That means I could not proceed with the game until I get those agents. Well, from here on, I'm just gonna assume that these agents are approved. With them out of the way, I can simply concentrate on the agents left, mainly ACF files, lingering on the archive, and have my database complete to finally start planning the actual game. The next big difference is the engine I'm gonna use. Before my 100% departure, I was going to use GameMaker Studio 2. However, now that I've decided to join my old community, this has changed to another engine, but that has come with its own problems. You see, this old engine is exactly that, old. The last update was like 5 years ago, and this engine was created in the late 2000s. Yeah, it's quite old. Due to this project being nostalgic-driven and the agents are as old as this engine, I figured it would fit, but the problem with an old engine is that it's not meant to be used with modern specs or even modern monitors. But the biggest problem is that it has no online capabilities. You can technically make it go online with plugins, but so far no online ones that actually work exists. There is a new version on the works that should be a modern version, but it's taking forever for it to release. But then again, it is being worked on by I do know 3 people. If the new modern version does not come out by spring 2019, then I'm going to go with its spiritual successor, Wizard. It looks like it's being made in spirit from the old engine, so perhaps this is the one to go, but I'm also worried about this. I downloaded it and it appears to be just like the old engine. Still, however, while the old engine is old, this new engine is young, and thus I'm finding some things odd about it. Perhaps it's just the demo game, but yeah, there are some bugs. Oh gosh, I'm really tempted to go back to GameMaker, but I have a strong desire to get this game done on a legacy engine. I'm going to go with Wizard and see how that works out, but if I can't even us that, then I may have no choice but to go back to GM. So with all that said, what are the plans for 2019? Well, hopefully by then the database will be complete. When that is complete, I am going to plan out how the game is going to play, how the world is going to look like, where each agent is located, how is the battle system going to be, and anything else that needs to be planned. Planning will be mostly done in the beginning of 2019, but eventually I'm gonna actually do some coding. I can't say when the actually development of the game will be, but once I am ready, I will make an announcement for sure, and updates of my progress will be made periodically, though where exactly is yet to be determined. That's all I got to say. 2019 is looking like the year MSAgent World will finally begin. Keep an eye on this Game Jolt page for more info. And that's the end of that.